Today we're gonna explain the Hero Slayer in Heroes Battlegrounds and how similar it is to My Hero Academia. Also, I realize that a lot of you guys aren't subscribed and it would really help me make these videos if y'all did. So please and thank you. Hero Slayer is based on My Hero Academia's Chizome Akaguro, otherwise known as Stain. Stain was a former vigilante who abolished the idea of heroes when he realized he himself was not a true one. Stendhal, Stain's old alias, was an extremely violent vigilante who was not afraid to kill, sometimes going out of his way to end other vigilantes who had helped villains before, even though he himself had done worse. He was a psychopath who eventually went off the rails and became known as the Hero Killer Stain. The thing that made him dangerous was his mysterious quirk that could paralyze his enemies. Blood Curdle allows Chizome to temporarily paralyze his opponents if he can ingest a portion of their blood. This quirk also grants him an extremely large tongue tainted with numerous papillae. It doesn't matter how much blood he intakes, but the paralysis does depend on the person's blood type. Now that we got that out the way and you remember about Stain, let's get into the details. As for the cosmetic changes you get in game is this sword and sheath that you wear on your back. More specifically, a katana, just like the one that Stain used in his battle against Ida, Deku, and Todoroki. The spawn animation looks like this, but these usually don't have much similarity to the anime, rather being original to the game. So quickly before we get into the moves, let's talk about the M1. The M1s look like this and are inspired by Stain's main weapon, a katana. As for the mastered version, there are multiple M1 variations. One of the variants can only be accessed by finishing a target with Dagger Cascade and picking your katana back up. This will give you the katana plus knife M1 mode that deals the most damage at 21%. Next is fist plus knife, which requires finishing a target with a Dagger Cascade, with the difference being not picking up your sword, dealing 18% damage. Finally is the knuckle dusters that require finishing a target with uppercut or headbutt, dealing 19% damage. The reason there are so many different M1s for Hero Slayer is due to Stain's aptitude in various bladed weapons, as you can see by the ones that he carries on his body at all times. These knives are a staple for Stain as he uses them to slice his opponents and retrieves them to get their blood. Now Stain isn't known for having knuckle dusters, but he is known to have these pointy shoes that he uses to stab people, which are basically foot versions of them. Okay, 1000 Slices is the first move. This attack performs a flurry of wide circular slashes all around you. Now Stain only fought for 2 episodes in the anime, so that's all we really have to work with, leaving me to compare 1000 Slices to this attack he did on an iceberg that Todoroki created. Even though the in-game version's range and duration is longer, it's still similar to this and he could easily do it to an opponent if he was able to close the distance. Triple Dagger Throw is the second move, which is just a simple projectile attack that throws 3 daggers toward your cursor. This attack isn't a named one that Stain uses, but it is an important part to his arsenal. Due to his attributes mainly relying on close range fighting, he needed a way to mix up his attacks and decided to use throwing knives to create long range ones. You can see him throw multiple knives at once like he did to Todoroki's arm. Throwing knives at children is crazy, by the way. There is also an aerial variant to this move, which is not surprising due to the acrobatic skill Stain possesses that allows for him to attack at all different angles. This attack also has a finisher that gives you a cutscene, but this is original to the game. Following that is Backout Crutch. Not sure why it's named this, but this attack allows you to grab onto an opponent, slapping them down to stab them before kicking them away. Now Stain didn't do this specifically in his fight against Ida, but was close to doing this very attack until Deku came through and stopped him. For all we know, he could have stabbed Ida and then kicked him away, so I do want to say that this is the inspiration. And the finisher for this attack is a stronger, more detailed version of the base. The final move is called Curdle Pierce. This slow move makes you linger in the air before delivering a graceful circular slice that taints your opponent's blood. Even though I never land this attack, it is the most similar attack to Stain in MHA. More specifically, the second use of Curdle Pierce that upon activation will stun your opponent temporarily, causing him to kneel to the ground and glow red. This is exactly what Stain does with his quirk, Blood Curdle. The red glow isn't really canon, but is just a visual indicator to let you know that you did stun somebody, and it's probably alluding to this. Okay, before we get into the ultimate, let's talk about the mastered version of Hero Slayer. By doing the quest given by this guy, you will eventually unlock this character that has a completely different base moveset to its former. The reason why I think they even added a master version to this character was due to the dramatic change in Stain as the fight progressed. You can see Deku say that he's fighting completely different, both physically and mentally, which is illustrated by the different tactics Stain was trying. So because he felt like a whole different person, I want to say that this is the inspiration for the change. Now, Now, as an upstanding citizen like myself, I don't feel right making my viewers listen to me yap if there's no correlation between the game and the anime. So here's a list of the moves that has nothing to do with the anime so that we can get right into the good stuff. This also includes attacks that can only be used in their respective M1 mode. For example, when in Fist M1, your first and third move are replaced. Shadow Rush, including its second use, air variant, and both its finishers, 1,000,000 slashes and its finisher, Uppercut, its second use and its finisher, Dagger Cascade, second use and finisher, then Headbutt and its finisher. The reason as to why you have so many different M1s and attacks is due to Stain's adaptability and drive. He had a different aura to him that all the heroes he encountered could feel. With this passion and drive for his goals, he was able to bring his skills and body to its peak, which allowed for him to have immense speed, enhanced strength, insane stamina, enhanced smell, and all topped off with good battle IQ and tactical intellect. The reason why these moves are not in the anime is simply because they're just too brutal. His only on-screen fight is against 3 of our main characters, and they would have never been able to survive these. So I'll allow them and just believe that Stain could easily pull off these moves on even bum heroes. The 2 moves that are canon to MHA are Katana Throw and Whirlwind Pierce. The latter is just a cooler version of Curdle Pierce and functions the exact same way as its base. Katana Throw does what the name implies and throws your sword into your opponent. One thing I love about this attack is that you can actually pick it back up if you walk over it in game. And also by doing an M1 string while your katana is in your opponent's body, you will pull it out at the last hit and send them flying back. Stain can be seen using a katana very freely and even using it to distract Todoroki by launching it into the air on top of him while simultaneously throwing a knife at him so he didn't notice. This is the finisher, but it's not taken from anything. So I guess something I have to talk about is the black flashes. You need to finish an opponent in any way except via M1 string. Also a finisher if they're low enough. Literally no reason for this character to have black flashes, but cool I guess. Finally, we could talk about the ultimate titled Conviction. The animation looks like this and probably reminds you of his infamous speech, but honestly I think that's more akin to another move in the game. Crimson Parry is the first move of the ultimate and is a counter attack that does this. The only counter I saw Stain do was this one on Deku, but he was saved at the last second by Todoroki. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything similar to Scarlet Frenzy or Sanguine Symphony, but if you know about any ones that I missed, please comment down below and I'll respond to you. Indomitable Will is the final move. This move is not an attack, but instead a move that allows you to extend your ultimate, as well as the fact that if anyone is near you while this is happening, they will have Blood Curdle applied to them, and will add to the stack of speed, attack speed, and lower gravity on yourself. This is all in theme to Stain's character in MHA. Stain's ridiculous force of will seems to impact the psyches of others even during combat. He was able to paralyze several top heroes, including a seasoned veteran like Gran Torino and the number 2 hero at the time, Endeavor, and gave them fear despite having suffered severe injuries. He also forced many heroes to reconsider their actions and beliefs even during combat. Even after his capture, footage of his speech to the heroes inspired many criminals and vigilantes into action, lobstering the ranks of the League of Villains considerably. Okay, now it's time to grade how similar I think Hero Slayer is to My Hero Academia's Stain. There are too many factors to explain why I came to this judgment, so I'm just gonna have to give Hero Slayer a grade of a B+ to My Hero Academia. Bro, just click this playlist right here to watch all my explained videos on Heroes Battlegrounds, and don't forget to subscribe. Millz Mafia out. Yeah.